Research supports music therapy being used for a variety of patient needs. That might mean that a music therapist can match how a patient is breathing if they're having difficulty breathing and help them calm by changing the way the music is. It may mean that a patient who's in significant pain, music therapy techniques are used to help direct attention and help calm the patient in that moment. On another end of the spectrum, often patients who have dementia or even Alzheimer's, a music therapist uses specific ways of working with them to help them interact in ways that they normally can't. So there's a significant amount of neurologic research that tells us why that is and how music is processed in the brain, and therefore how it can be used to help people who can't remember certain things interact with us in a more meaningful way.
People just have this idea in their head that, oh, well, it's just music. What can music really do? But they don't really understand the benefits that music therapy can have on things like controlling respirations and dyspnea, and providing music for relaxation if patients are having pain or agitation.
Music therapists receive significant training through a university degree. So that could be a bachelor's, a master's, all the way up to the doctoral level. And after they've completed that university training, which involves a background in biology and anatomy and psychology, and also music skills, they then go on to do significant field clinical training. So they do a 6-month internship, and they also receive a board certification, which is the MTBC credential, after having taken an exam for that. Often we hear caregivers and patients say that music therapy and those moments with their music therapist brings them back as a person. Maybe they had lost those relationships with their family, or they had lost their own feelings of who they were, and those special moments with a music therapist can bring that back at a time when they maybe have lost hope to some degree.
My father was Tom Hart, and he was diagnosed with cancer about 20 years ago, and he survived multiple myeloma, and then he was diagnosed with prostate cancer, and he survived that, and then he was diagnosed with lung cancer, and it definitely became more care than my sister alone could provide. So Big Bend Hospice came in and supplied my sister with respite and with nursing care, and also just a shoulder to lean on when she needed it. There were people here that could help during the day, and then the music therapy.
I was unsure if the music therapy program would benefit my dad or myself. I knew Big Bend Hospice had the music therapy program. What I saw it do for my dad was just beautiful.
Kevin came and set up, and my father had been resting. He was very tired that day. And then Kevin started playing his guitar, and my father just woke up. His feet moved, his hands moved. He was mouthing words even though he wasn't talking. And he was so alive, and he was so elated.
I have a home office. I remember sitting in my office thinking, they're very talented. And I actually came out of my office, I was standing in the doorway, and it's just what started off really, it's kind of awkward. Someone comes into your house and they're singing, quickly just transformed into this Thursday. It's Tuesday, 2 more days. You know, every week, everybody looked forward to it.
Kevin learned about my dad. My dad was able to share stories that brought him all the way back to his, time as a boy, 9, 10 years old. And a theme also developed between Kevin and my father, and the theme being that of trains. So Chattanooga choo-choo, won't you choo-choo me home? My dad did a lot of traveled on trains as a young boy with his uncle. He loved talking about the trains. My dad had a train room later in life when he retired with model trains that kept him busy.
One of the things that Kevin did that was absolutely amazing and beyond genuine and kind was he wrote a song for my father through the stories that they shared together. And the song captured my father's life to a T. It started from his childhood and evolved all the way up through marriage, having children, and just experiencing life and his journey.
My favorite verse was the one that Kevin included about my father proposing to my mother. My dad was in the Army and had been away at reserves for the 2 or 3 week training camp, and took the train. Once again, there's our theme of train home. This was in Miami. And my mother was there to pick him up that morning he came home.
Traveling from Fort Benning down to Miami Beach. My body was tired and my brain was fried and love felt so out of reach. But there she was awaiting, and I knew right then and there. So at the next stop sign I made her my wife, and the rest is history from there. And this train keeps her on.
I think that with Kevin and Big Bend Hospice and the care that they provided for my father, there was a true connection. They weren't just coming in and administering medication or giving counseling advice. There was a connection, and Kevin knew my father. He understood my father. He listened to my father and heard stories about his life. And he played music that connected to my father and made my father remember and be his healthy self, even though he was sick.
It really gave me as a caregiver another outlet to know that it was care of a different kind, care for his soul, but care for my soul too, because we all were part of the program.
In hospice, we only get one chance to get it right. We only have one opportunity to impact someone's experience of dying and that family's experience of caregiving. We think that music therapy, and I know that music therapy helps that experience be the best it can, that it can bring comfort when other things can't, and it can help families have moments that are beautiful that they'll never forget.
Waiting for me at the end of the ride. Yeah, pretty girls waiting for me at the end of the ride.